Hey everyone, it's Kimmy. I am a 14-year online reseller and I am here today to do a What Sold video. And this one's gonna be a good one, you guys. If you follow my channel, the last couple have been a little bit less than what I have been used to. In fact, I think, looking at my paperwork here, one of the last ones was the lowest I've had in months. Now, reselling is a roller coaster. I've been doing this so very long that I know that anything could happen at virtually any time. That's just the way it is. It's part of the business. And it's always been that way for me. So as consistent as you can be with all the things, listing, relisting, lowering prices, offering coupons, sending offers, you still might not always have the same exact amount of sales. But my sales went back up. So listen to this. My last 5-day What Sold, I did $698.10, which is still hitting my goal. And that's honestly not a terrible number, but it was low for me. It's low. It's the lowest it's been in months. This 5-day period, I did $1,122.76. Woo woo. So hey, I don't know why. I don't know why. I didn't change anything. My goals are pretty much always the same. I do the same things on cross-posting and relisting and all the things. So I don't know why, but that's awesome. 1122. Let me check my other book here. Is that a record? Nope, not a record. In the last many months. My record right now for 5 days is $1,292. $1,292 in 5 days. So this is still great. I'm super excited about this. I have some awesome sales to show you guys, things that I'm excited to show you. Here's the deal. eBay did $669.76. Poshmark, I think what really increased this number is Poshmark came in with some better sales, because Poshmark is always a toss-up for me and pretty much always lower than eBay. Poshmark did $430 in 5 days, and that's actually really good for my Poshmark numbers. I had 2 great bundles, so that really helped. And then Depop had one sale for $23, and that's just how Depop is, so no biggie there. I sold 46 items in 5 days, and it was $1,122. So yay! Rebound, you just got to keep swimming. Like I tell you guys, that's just the way it is. So keep listing and doing all the things, and it'll come back around if you stick with it. I mean, that's honestly one of the biggest things with reselling. People quit because it's too inconsistent. We don't get paid by the hour. And if you have a couple $0 days, you don't make any money, honey. And that is and can be very frustrating and can be stressful on your life, honestly. So I completely understand that. That's what a lot of times what people quit reselling because of that reason. So let's not talk about that though. I've been doing this 14 years. I have literally no plans. Reselling is more crazy than ever. There's more competition than ever. Look, even I have this little tiny YouTube channel and I'm giving you guys all my secrets. That doesn't seem like a good business move. Telling you guys everything I know and everything I've learned over 14 years. I probably shouldn't share that, but I love you guys, so it's fine. And I'm really not worried about it. There's enough garage sales, thrift stores, clearance sales, all kinds of stuff that I'm just really, I just keep going. And I'm not worried about it. So 1122. That's excellent. I'm going to turn this thing around and show you guys exactly what sold for how much, and give you guys some reasons why I think that the item sold. And hopefully that will be helpful or useful in some way. So let's go do that. 2K baby doll tank top size extra large ties around back. I put in fairy and prairie in the title, and also boho bohemian. Look how cute this thing is. Here's the tag. I talk a lot on this channel about looking for a paper tag or made in the USA. A lot of times these Y2K brands, the brand means nothing. Joe Vanilla? What the heck was that? I don't know. But you can tell by the tag, made in the USA, the cut of the tag, that this is a Y2K piece, super cute. If you are looking to learn about styles, this is what you want to look for as far as a Y2K baby doll tank top with the boho, the asymmetrical shark bite hem, the tie around back. For all of those reasons, it's honestly no surprise. This sold for $29 plus shipping. This is a brand that I've only learned within the last 6 months. I would love to find this brand all the time because it sells super well for me. Track Smith. Look for this little bunny. So cute. It's a running brand or athletic brand. It was a long compression running short. I found these at the bins. And when I saw that little bunny, I was so excited. I didn't know how well it was going to do though, because it's a less substantial piece. It's a short. However, this still sold for $40. You guys, I found this at the bins. Cost me 75 cents maybe. And I sold it for $40 plus shipping. This brand is really expensive. I talked to you guys a lot about if you can hone in on a certain sport or hobby and really learn the expensive brands of that hobby, like golf, wrestling, baseball, whatever, and you really learn that niche, then that's where you can make a lot of money. This is a running brand. I will pick it up in a heartbeat if and when I find it again. Track Smith. Now, this was a little bit of a stinker sale, and that's why I included it. When I do these What Sold videos, I don't show you every single piece that I've sold during this time period. But, Lucky Brand usually does really well for me, and this item did not. It's a brand new with tags. The retail was $89. It's like a moto style blazer. It was like full zip mixed print moto blazer. And I don't know if it's because it's not a very classic Lucky Brand item, which this really doesn't give boho vibes, and a lot of Lucky Brands have boho vibes. But it was brand new with tags, $89, sat forever, and only sold for $16 plus shipping. So do with that what you will. I'm a little confused as to why it took so long and why it sold for so little. The only thing I can think of, like I said, is that it was not a boho style, which is what Lucky Brand is known for. Patagonia, that's a brand everyone should probably know at this point. Patagonia. If you find it and it's a reasonable cost of goods, this was a size small women's button-down shirt, and it sold for $20 plus shipping. As with a lot of outdoor brands, if you can find more substantial pieces like zip-ups, pullovers, jackets, that's where you'll get into the real big money. But $20 is fine for just a basic button-up shirt from a great brand, Patagonia. Sometimes, I don't know why my little camera goes haywire there. However, here we go to the next item, vintage Y2K Abercrombie striped knit. Now, this is not necessarily it's not necessarily the biggest like Y2K items that you want to find, because this is like a button-up cardigan, and I think that's why it only sold for $15, and I just picked it up at the bins. When you're looking for Y2K items from Abercrombie, Hollister, Aeropostale, you really want like a spell out or a big logo. That seems to add some dollars to the value there. I was surprised to find these Sorel shoes at the bins. I don't know why anyone left them behind. Sorel women's slingback sandals, leathers. It is an interesting color, the orange color. I love it, but maybe that's why someone left them behind. Really big Sorel on the like for the brand logo there. These sold for $22 plus shipping. I do find a lot of times with my Poshmark offers, people offer $22 because shipping is like $8. So then it gives it a $30 total. I'm sure you guys know Sorel is a great brand to keep an eye out for, a lot of times more so in the boot category. Now this, I just loved this item. This was part of a bundle. I got 2 great bundles on Poshmark. I was obsessed with this dress. This is a vintage 50s JCPenney, baby. JCPenney. Cherry print dress. I put in pinup rockabilly. I don't know why I put in Y2K because this is old. You guys look at this tag. And it's like, I picture, my dream was if someone was going to buy this, it was from like someone who was in Los Angeles doing a movie from a very late era. Like someone was a waitress in an old, an old restaurant. Because I just love this. Pinup, rockabilly. I bought this at a regular thrift store for $6.99, and it sold in a bundle. The bundle was 3 pieces for $80. So, each item came out to like $25, $27, do the math. But I love this item. It is so cute. I can't. Some of these vintage items I just can't leave behind. I'll just be honest. Like I couldn't let that go to a landfill somewhere. Now this brand, some people are passing on. Not Your Daughter's Jeans, NYDJ. Black. This is a pair of black jeans, lift and tuck, size 20W. I think the plus size did elevate this a little bit. Here's the logo for you. I understand if you don't pick it up. It seems like the dollar value of this brand is going down a little bit. I used to sell these all the time. It was a bolo for me like 2 years ago. $25 all day. Not Your Daughter's Jeans. But this sold for $17. If you're getting it at the bins for low cost of goods, like $1, it still might be worth the pickup. Keep in mind, the different, I don't know. I still sell skinny jeans. This is a straight leg jean. But what's in style is a wider or a flare. So, a sale is a sale. Now this is kind of a funny sale because this guy was in love with this item. He left me the kindest review, and he was like, if you ever find this item ever again, please tell me. New with tags, men's XXL O'Neill long sleeve UPF shirt. I put swim and fishing in there. I get this at the bins, brand new with tags. Look for items that do have a UPF, any type of sun protection, mosquito protection. Then it could be something to keep an eye out for. I sold this for $22 plus shipping. That's bread and butter all day. And my customer was super happy. And that makes me happy. So this is a brand you guys should know. I've mentioned it before. Robert Graham. Look for that embroidered logo name, on the back collar there. He always has like these fun things on the inside part of the shirt. Knowledge, wisdom, and truth. Robert Graham. Size large men's multicolor print flip cuff. If you find Robert Graham, most of the time you don't have to put in a lot of keywords or anything. It will sell on its own. Look for bolder prints, larger sizes. This sold for $30 plus shipping. Now here is my girl, Lori Goldstein. You guys know I found a ton of Lori Goldstein not long ago. Most of the pieces were between $2.50 and like $6 a piece. But this is bread and butter for me. Plus size Lori Goldstein. This is a 3X. Look for bolder prints. A lot of the plain stuff doesn't move as much, but look for different prints. Look for the jersey knit, tunic longer length, long sleeves. This sold for $25 plus shipping. Great bread and butter for me all day long. Now, I do find most of my shoes at the bins. This pair I definitely found at the bins. This is the brand Keen, Keen. Sandals, size women's 9. Metatomical footbed. Waterproof. Hiking and walking. These are like a sandal shoe. These are great for camping, hiking, adventures outdoors. That's why people love these shoes. They're versatile and they're great for a lot of outdoor activities. $24 plus ship. From the bins, they cost me $2. Another great bread and butter sale for me. I don't know if you guys remember, this was in a haul video maybe a month or two ago. I found this shirt in like a couple different sizes, all brand new. So that was kind of interesting. And I paid $3.99 a piece for them. Torrid is bread and butter for me. I still pick it up. It's okay if you don't, but this was bread and butter, brand new with tags for only $4. Size 3 eyelet sleeveless top. I did find the stocks for it when it has that tag. I have the Torrid app, and I just scan the barcode, and it pulls up the stock photo for me. This sold for $25 plus shipping, and again, that's just bread and butter for me. If you guys, get the vibe here, obviously I've had a couple higher priced sales, but also, I'm making $15 a piece on all of these items, 15, 15, 15, 15. And then when you sell 15 or 20 items, you do the math and you're getting into the hundreds of dollars. So that's my business model. Doesn't have to be yours, is what I always say, but that's just how I run my business. Now, this is an interesting, are you guys listening? I have a little tip here. This is an interesting sale. This is a No Boundaries, which is a Walmart brand. It is a truly vintage men's shirt, size 3XL. I put dragons, flames, and graphic. Look at this. Dragons are in, kind of this like Asian kind of vibe is in, but the tip is a lot of these brands have caught on to the fact that Y2K is in. So they are remaking their old items to make them look vintage. So you have to be very, very careful on what you're picking up. No Boundaries, they are now like remaking some of these items, but you want to find the real vintage Y2K items. How did I know that? A little bit by the tag. Made in Korea. A lot of the Y2K stuff is made in Korea, made in Vietnam, made in Indonesia. It's not made in China. So definitely make sure you kind of double check, look at the tags carefully. This sold for $25 plus shipping very quickly. Dragons are also in. So something to put in your reseller brain there. This is a plus size brand that I do fairly well with, but I don't find it a whole lot. Eloquii, Eloquii. And this is a brand like a wash I wasn't entirely certain about. It's like more of a light acid wash, but this is a plus size 24W high rise straight leg. I will say for Eloquii, they do make quality items, so it may be a plus size brand to keep an eye out for. They sold for $20 plus shipping. Now, this is another item I found at the bins, and I was surprised nobody else had picked it up. R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. This is a Nike Kobe Bryant basketball shirt from 2013. I don't know if people just didn't think it was worth anything, but Kobe, when people pass on, a lot of times their items, especially, there's still items being made for Kobe, right? His brand, his family, whatever. But if you can find items pre his passing, those usually do have value. And that's for basically any celebrity. When someone passes away, usually you'll hear resellers say like, hey, if you have any Elvis Presley stuff, put it up right now because he just passed away. And people who love that person want to collect items to remember them. So note to self, this Kobe shirt, I found at the bins, so it cost me 50 cents, and I sold it for $25 plus shipping. Sanctuary, this was just like an okay sale. I thought I was going to do more. Sanctuary, 100% Tencel lyocell, olive green jogger pants in a size medium. Sanctuary is just okay, but I thought the 100% Tencel lyocell was going to elevate it a little bit more. This actually only sold for $15 plus shipping, which is okay. I got this at the bins, but I don't know. I thought the Tencel lyocell was going to bring a little bit more money, so just okay on that one. Now, here's a brand you do want to know. This was a fantastic sale. Oh my gauze. I do pretty well with this, especially this time of year. As the brand states, they're gauzy, lightly textured items. They're great for beach, vacation. A lot of people in the South like it because of the material. Oh my gauze. This was brand new with tags. It sold for $30 plus shipping. A lot of my Oh My Gauze goes in the $25 range. I was hoping to get just a smidge more for this because it was new with tags, but I'm still happy with $30. Oh My Gauze. You guys have heard, that's just my phone going off over there. Jeez. You guys have heard me mention this brand many times before. Again, I picked these all up at the bins. JBU Jambu is a shoe brand. Again, they're versatile shoes. They're great for spring, summer, and fall, but they have a nice footbed. So if you are going hiking or if you're camping, these can be cute and stylish, but also comfortable and usable for activities. JBU or Jambu, $27.55, and at the bins I paid $1.50. Here is another Lori logo Goldstein. Again, this is a plus size brand that I do well with. Look for different types of prints. I put in art to wear. This is a 3X tunic length art to wear, and I had the stretchy jersey knit material that does really well for me as well. So look out for all of those things. Different prints, different colors, material. Add those, those factors to pick them up. Now this is a stinker sale. Wah, wah, wah. Had this forever. And this brand used to do really well for me, and I don't think I would pick it up today for virtually any reason. In fact, I know I have passed on this brand recently. BB Dakota. I would not pick this up anymore. This only sold for $4.75. It took forever. It used to be a brand that I really liked. That's how reselling is. Sometimes things you used to pick up no longer are worth anything. So bye-bye. Sorry, BB Dakota, but I would not advise anyone to pick that up anymore. Kahala, 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 linen and cotton blend, men's size medium, Hawaiian shirt. This did sit for a little bit, but it's not shocking that it finally sold now because of the time period, right? It's spring, summer. People are looking for linens. They're looking for tropical shirts, travel, vacation. So it did sit though. So in the Hawaiian shirts, I do like to find better quality materials and bolder prints if I can. And if it was made in Hawaii, then that's really the ticket for the Hawaiian shirts. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I was so excited to find this at the bins. I cannot even believe it still. I found it in an overpicked bin. So I think somebody put it back. Maybe if it was for themselves, they decided they didn't like it, or if a reseller put this back, I'm really not sure why. Brand new with tags, Torrid, plus size, tankini top and bottom. It was a matching swimsuit set. So darn cute. These pieces together cost $120, and I sold them for $40, and I got them at the bin, so I paid $2, we'll say. I don't even know if I paid $2, honestly. These, I paid $1.29 a pound, maybe $1.50, maybe. So all around, a great value for my customer, a great profit for me. So all around, that's a win-win, and I saved it from going into the depths of landfill somewhere. That's amazing. This is perfect. If I could do that all the time, that's what I would do. So a great sale there. Now this is more of a style-based pickup, vintage Windsor. I do okay with Y2K Windsor, which is it's a mall brand. This is like sheer, made in USA, sheer bodysuit. This is like grungy, gothic. So it's definitely more style-based, and it's Y2K. I sold this for $20 plus shipping. I got it at the bins, and it probably cost me $0.25. I'm not even going to lie, because it's so lightweight and sheer. The gothic crowd, that style aesthetic is looking for a lot of times more sheer or mesh, fishnet, different like kind of textures, because that's just their vibe, and that's what they wear. So note to self that might be something to keep an eye out for. This is a brand that I love, and this didn't do it did good. It didn't do as good as I was hoping. Matilda Jane, they more specialize in children's items, so maybe that's why this didn't sell for as much. This was the lovely Menagerie dress. You can see right there it says $72. They also specialize in like boho, peasant, prairie, cottagecore type of items. This sold for $24 plus shipping. That's not terrible, but I was hoping to get a little bit more for it. Matilda Jane, though, is a brand I would keep an eye out for. And if you do kids items, Matilda Jane is a great brand to keep an eye out for in the kids items. I put this in this video because I thought it was really interesting that this did so well. I took a chance, honestly, on this item at the bins. The brand is Cintas. So I just looked up the solds. Cintas Regeneration. These are like dress pants, work pants, office. They're a pair of men's trousers, size 42-32, and they were made of recycled polyester. And that's why I decided to kind of look it up, because of the recycled material. People are looking for ways to support Mother Nature, to support recycling, eco efforts. So if you find items that have recycled materials or natural materials, it may be something to keep an eye out for. These sold for $21.43. They're literally just like a black trouser pant. Cintas Regeneration. See right there on the tag, recycled garment life extension, eco antibacterial fabric. So I just think this is like one of those odd things that happened to be worth a little bit more than I think people were expecting. Now, this is a stinker sale. This is a perfect example of where you could have a quality item and you're just not sure why it didn't sell quicker. This is the North Face, which is a good, solid, athletic, outdoor type of brand. It's a women's large, and it was a modal blend. So for those reasons, I thought it would do well. It sat forever. The North Face, it being a women's large, which is a better size, and it being a modal blend. Modal is super soft and comfy. This was a button-up shirt. It took forever. I don't know. Sometimes it's like that. This only sold for $8. A lot of times, honestly, I'm passing on these athletic adventure type of brands, unless it's a more substantial piece like outerwear, vests, zip-ups, pullovers. There's just not, I think the market is oversaturated. This did not do well for me, you guys. And here's that one Depop sale. I kind of find it funny that this sold on Depop. It's a pair of Figs medical scrubs. They sold for $23 plus shipping. Figs, if you don't know it, they're a solid bread and butter for me. It is a medical assistant, nurses, paramedic brand, and they do pretty well for me. I'm just surprised it sold on Depop for $23 plus shipping. So if you can get them for under $5, that's where you'll kind of sit with this. This is bread and butter for me. All right, there you guys have it. $11.22 in sales. $1,122. That is fantastic for me. 5 days, over $1,000 in sales. I do this part-time. I usually say 20 to 25 hours dedicated to my online reseller business. I do have something else that I do outside of my home to bring in income for the family. So this is just a part of the money that I bring to the family, and I think that's fantastic. I am not going to lie. I think it's great. My other, side hustle does about the same, and that's how I get my money, honey. And that's how I support my family and still have the flexibility that I want as a mom. Now, listen, my kids are getting older. In a couple years, 3, 4, 5 years, they'll be driving. And, I started this when my first son was in my belly. because I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but I knew, I knew that I had to bring in money to the family or we weren't going to survive, right? So that's kind of how I came down this journey so many years ago. But now my kids are getting older. It makes me want to cry. And they're going to start driving in a couple years. And then what will be my excuse not to get a real job? I don't know. Like, I've been out of the corporate world. I was in the corporate world for a very short time period after college. And I did really well, honestly, in the couple of years that I did it. But I don't know if I'm made for that. I think I would prefer sifting through giant bins of everybody else's garbage. I mean, who says that? I would much rather run to 90 garage sales and find other people's trash and turn it into treasure than get a real job and be an executive and climb the corporate ladder, which is what I originally intended to do. But I don't know if I'm made for it now. By the time my kids are, I'm going to be, 18 years into this when my kids will be going off to college and stuff and they won't need me anymore. So we'll have to see how that ends, but I don't really plan on doing this anytime soon. So this is my job. My part-time job is the online part. I'm really happy with those sales. A lot of great items to note, style-based, brand-based, all the things that I talk about on my channel all the time. If you are new or you're not subscribed, please think about hitting that subscribe button for me, like or comment on this video. It really helps me out. I don't know how to understand the algorithms or whatever as to how I can connect with more people. But I do feel like if you are a reseller or looking to be just a reseller of just clothing, everyday clothing, I feel like I can teach a lot, both good and bad. I have a lot of experience. I've done a lot of things. And hopefully I can continue to connect with other people out there who are trying to do that. Or just anyone who likes to hear what us hustlers, when new people meet me or when people ask, like there's parents at school that don't have any clue what I do. And when they do ask, I'm like, I'm a hustler, baby. Because basically that's what I do. I hustle my butt around town and try to find things that I can flip. Because it's not like your normal job. Like, I can't say like, oh, I'm like an accountant at a law firm. Like, I'm not that cool. I don't have any cool titles. So I like to kind of joke around about it instead. I sift through other people's garbage. I mean, kind of. I don't know. Is it really? It's not garbage. I find good stuff all the time. I mean, I can't even believe you guys go back to some of my thrift hauls. You've watched my thrift hauls. The things I find at the bins that are about to go into a garbage or where else they go to. Because at the Goodwill bins, these are items that have already been processed through regular Goodwills or aren't even going to hit the regular Goodwill. They were like, you know what? I don't even want to deal with this. I'm going to just throw it to the bins. So they've already gone through that process. They're not going to a regular Goodwill. So where do they go from here? I don't know. I think some people like buy it by like the pallets or something. I also think it goes overseas. I do think maybe they get recycled in some way, like into towels or something. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Where do they go? You guys tell me. Where does all this stuff in the bins go after it's been processed 15 times through Goodwill and then the Goodwill bins? Where does it go? I do know that there's like millions of pounds that go into landfills that are textiles, meaning clothing, linens, blankets, stuff like that. And that is really, really sad. So I'm happy that we can save some of it from ending up there. Anyways, awesome sales here. I'm going to actually go list now so that I can go to bed. But awesome, really, really awesome sales week. A rebound from the previous couple weeks that were just not as good as normal. That's just the roller coaster, you guys. Keep doing the things. And I will see you guys on the next one. Be sure to check in, and I hope you guys are doing really well.